What is going on today, guys? Welcome back to an episode of WNN, your source for the music and music production news. Today we'll be talking about Izotope Trash 3. Is it trash? Joe Biden wants to ban AI voice impersonation, as well as teenage engineering making a Nintendo Switch. In our first story, Izotope has released Izotope Trash 3. It's not really Izotope Trash 3, it's actually just Izotope Trash, which is the worst idea for SEO basically ever, because Izotope Trash 1 has already been released, and they basically reintroduced it as Trash again. Except the name is actually kind of literal this time. Okay, it's maybe a little bit of an exaggeration. It's not trash, but it's not better than Trash 2 is the general sentiment at this point. So they have a light version and the full version. The light version does not let you use the multiband or convolution features. Alright, as you can see here, Izotope thinks they're funny. On the plus side, it has 600 distortion types and impulse responses. The biggest upgrade, in my opinion, is the user interface. It is much cleaner to look at than Trash 2. It doesn't give off that generic Winamp vibe. And when I say generic Winamp vibe, Winamp's great, but not when you're trying to look like it in a way that's not iconic. Some people prefer the Trash 2 UI. I've always felt it was rather convoluted and old looking. Now, the biggest source of complaints from people are the fact that you only have a Trash module and a Convolve module. There are some limitations that set it apart from Trash 2. There's only one low-pass filter, whereas before you had access to EQ. The modulation is now only a single envelope. There's no compression or delay. You also no longer have complete freedom of the signal flow. The only freedom you have is to switch the distortion unit and the convolution unit around. Another one of the biggest complaints is that you cannot create a custom wave shape. This version no longer has distortion in multiple stages like in Trash 2. Let's take a listen to the Trash module and the Convolve module. Alright, before... After. Okay, so nothing, apparently. I'm assuming it plays when it goes all the way back around, but it doesn't function the same way as the before. Anyways, after. If it ever plays. Yeah, after sounds even better, in my opinion. Okay, let's see if it actually plays this time. I forgot what the before even sounded like, to be honest. After doesn't even play. Good Izotope. Before and after. Hopefully it works this time. Before. After. Sounds like distortion with some filtering. I really feel like it's hard to compare distortion plugins because there's so many different variables within them. In a demo like this or comparing them, you're going to struggle to show which one is better unless you pick settings that are better. Now the Convolve module, which allows you to change your sound into other objects and places. Let's hear what it sounds like. Before. After. Hopefully it's not silence this time. They should have told us what the impulse response was there because I'm not sure what it's supposed to be. The tone, I'm sure, was a little bit different there. I'm assuming they did like a reverb impulse response there. Not a huge difference in my opinion. Now, obviously, you can do multi-band processing in it as well, just like Trash 2. The UI, in my opinion, is the biggest upgrade. Everything else is kind of a downgrade. Obviously, you have mix knobs, other controls about the distortion and convolution. Randomize feature, kind of cool if you're looking for something different. So it doesn't just change the preset, it also changes the settings, so you can get something pretty much completely random. There's a filter, but it is only a low-pass filter. Would have been nice to have several different filter options. One other good feature they've added is you can now use it on iPad. Apparently, at first, the trial was only working on iPad, so that's something for sure. I was a little disappointed, but it's also not bad. It's okay, in my opinion. It's just mid. Is it usable? Yes. Is it better than Trash 2? I would say no in every way except for the UI. Now it is $79 full price. I was able to get the upgrade from Trash 2 for $29. I believe some people are saying it is $49 also. If you're not seeing the $29 price tag, go to your loyalty offers. It's interesting because even if you have Trash 2 and they know you have Trash 2 when you're in your account, they will still try to sell you this $79 version unless you go to the loyalty offers. Very interesting, tricky marketing by Izotope there. So check out Izotope Trash if that interests you. When I say trash, I mean the new Trash, not the old Trash, because why would they make it so confusing? It's actually hard to find it on Google if you're not careful. I would tell you to use the trial, but I'm not even sure if it works at this point. In our next story, Teenage Engineering is making a Nintendo Switch. Just kidding. It is a mock-up design made by an industrial student that is doing tricks on it. This was something posted by Music Radar, so I'm contractually obligated to do a story about it also. I'm not sure why they are doing it. I'm doing it to make fun of it and them. What would the Nintendo Switch look like if it was designed by Teenage Engineering? So basically almost identical to the Nintendo Switch. Would be a few things moved around here, Teenage Engineering logo on it, and they would name it some dumb combination of letters and numbers that resembles a Star Wars droid. They say, as the world waits for the announcement of the Switch 2, say hello to the XP1, a thing that is not even real yet. Like I said, doing tricks on it. Let's read what they're saying here. Teenage Engineering is a company that is hard to second guess. Tricks on it. You might think of it as a synth manufacturer, but it's also in the business of creating desks, overpriced, bags, overpriced, and of course a wooden doll choir, overpriced. They are saying they would not put it past Teenage Engineering to release a handheld video game console. They basically already kind of have this piece of shit I would assume no one on Earth plays with at this point. So for some reason, an industrial design student by the name of, I can't say that, decided to create it himself. He decided to join them in the orgy of doing tricks on Teenage Engineering, which, might I say, pretty sus. They are teenagers. You're going to jail. He stated that he wanted to create a handheld gaming console that blends into any environment and triggers a nostalgic feeling among users. What you're talking about is just a Nintendo Switch that exists already. Let's be honest, if Teenage Engineering designed a Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo Switch-like console, the games would be $300 each and they'd be very limited in features. Maybe I am just a party pooper, maybe I am just a hater, but this is really stupid. That's why I want to talk about it. I love talking about stupid things. And as a stupid person, I am great at recognizing stupidity. Like I was saying earlier, they had actually designed this thing called the Playdate here that uses a crank. One of the controls on it is a crank. I doubt there were that many people that actually bought it to use it and are still using it to this day. Hey, but maybe you are the single user of the Playdate at this point, which sounds like a dating app, and you disagree with me. Feel free to hit the dislike button. What a story. Music Radar, keep it up. You're making content great for me. In our next story, Joe Biden has recently hinted at banning AI voice impersonation. This comes after a recent campaign in New Hampshire via AI robocalls in order to convince people to not vote, and they were doing so with Joe Biden's voice. This led the FCC to ban these sort of calls. This comes from the White House website. He literally just says the sentence, ban AI voice impersonation and more. I personally think it's a win in terms of music. I don't want to hear any more AI voice music. Thank you for watching this episode of WNN. If you press the like button on this video, I will personally give you a Teenage Engineering Switch if it is ever released. So let's hope that doesn't happen, huh? If you want to support the channel, consider joining my Patreon or becoming a channel member. For as low as $5 a month, you get access to exclusive content that I upload pretty much every week. I'll see you guys next time.
Bang Incorporated.